Progress.
Thanks everybody for waiting. We've had LA Galaxy head coach Greg Vanney, and we'll start off for questions. We'll toss it off to Kim Baxter. Go ahead.
Hey, Greg, can you hear me?
I can.
Now that you're done with John Champion and Taylor Twellman, here come the dumb questions. When you look at your season, you know, you had, it seems like there's a lot of up and downs. You had Chicharito, you haven't had Chicharito. There's a game in Minnesota, maybe you shouldn't have won that you won. A couple of games at home that you should have won that you didn't. Does it feel that way? And is that normal? I mean, you had the 2017 season in Toronto. We had LAFC here a couple of years ago where they just ran the table. But that's the rare season, right? This is more normal, isn't it?
It is. I mean, especially in an MLS season, and especially as we're putting kind of a team together. I mean, 17 new faces. Obviously, you have injuries through the course of a season. You have players in and out with national team duty. You have a lot of variables going on, and the teams that have those seasons that you're talking about, our team in Toronto, the LAFC team, even New England's having a great season this year. They have very little turnover in their roster from week to week. You see a lot of the same faces. They're probably rotating 15 to 16 guys, probably not 22 to 30 guys. And there's a lot of consistency in their lineups, and there's a lot of consistency in what they're doing match to match. And they're able to keep consistency in terms of their level of performance and quality. And so that was it. That was the case in 2017 with us. You know, that was the year that Josie played the most games that he had all in an entire season. Seba played a ton of games. We didn't change our lineup a whole lot. We played we could do a lot of our relationships on the field. Our ability to adapt in game was very good, just because, again, it was guys used to each other and understanding what we were doing, and the level stayed very, very high. And it was consistent, you know? And so a little bit of what we're going through now, I think, is for sure it's more typical of an MLS season, but even more typical of, I think, of a team that's going through a little bit of a roster reconstruction and trying to integrate some new faces, a new coach, and learning a new style of play and a new way of thinking in some ways and playing. So I think that's common, and that's why, I say this a lot, that every game we go out, we are focused on trying to get the result on the day, but we're also very hyper focused on our process of becoming a better team and a more consistent team, and learning from each performance to try to be the best team we can be as we hit the knockout rounds in the playoffs, and getting ourselves in the best positions in playoffs and all that kind of stuff. We still have a lot of space and room to improve as a group. And
so when you hit that consistency, then maybe you get that situation that Vasquez talked about the other day. The mentality changes a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think, there's a couple of things. Those things go together. It's chicken and the egg. It's through some of that consistency, you can get guys to have that mentality. We talked a little bit about it as a group today, and trying to get to where we're going to means playing a little bit on the edge of uncomfortable, meaning you're putting yourself out there every single game to sometimes, instead of, for example, for our center backs, to stand in their spot and pass the ball versus drive into the space, attract somebody, and then pass the ball. It's very conservative and easy to stand in your space and pass the ball. But what we need them to do is drive in, attract attention, play the next pass. So it's getting guys to be a little bit outside of their comfort zone, play on the edge. And by doing so, we continue to improve as a group, and we can become our best version of ourselves. So it's getting guys a little bit to continue to push through the comfortable, to get a little uncomfortable, so that we can keep growing as a team. And different guys go through that in different phases and for different reasons. We've had guys who've come to us mid-season and are trying to get fit. We have guys who are coming out of injury trying to get fit. We have guys who are in and out. And again, that's where consistency helps you out. When you can get 11, 15, 18 guys who all are at a top level of fitness, who are all playing are comfortable and playing on that edge a little bit more, you can reach towards greatness, and you can really find out how good you can be. And we're still working towards that. And I want guys to feel like they're pushing themselves that way. I don't want guys to feel like they need to be conservative or concerned about things. I want guys to push themselves and push us to be the best possible version that we can be.
Next, we'll go to Damian Calhoun.
Hey, Greg.
Damian, how are you?
Good. Just want to get your thoughts on San Jose.
they're a team that they really have the ups and downs, I guess, the last couple of years here. Just when you think they're below the line and they're out of it, and here they are, like 1 point away from the 7th place there. What is it about this group that you've seen, and what is it about playing these guys? Just every time you face them.
So I think, the nature of how they have played the game over, under their coach, who's a very good coach, but the way he plays is a very unique way of playing. And, I think that has led them at times to some good results and some bad results, and maybe some ups and downs along the way for whatever reason. It's a very unique, different style than what anybody else has done in our league. But I also think as the course of a season goes, and as he has done now, he's made slight adjustments to the group without really changing exactly what they're trying to do. They have adapted a little bit to not be as exposed as maybe they have been in previous games, which means they're not giving up as many goals as they have. A lot of their games now are tight, and they're 1-goal games. It's either 1-0, 1-1. They're much tighter games. I think they're a little less extreme in the moment on the man-to-man, and they're doing, more of zoning a little bit away from the ball to close up spaces and not just chase men around, which maybe they've done in the past, which has left them exposed. So again, I think they've adapted along the way a little bit to try to figure out what's, the best way for them to continue to be successful and more consistent. And that's a coach who is getting used, reading his group and maybe adapting a little bit to the league along the way as well. So they're a competitive team, a combative team. They do some things really well. They really do. I mean, when they have the ball, they really spread the field out, and they make it difficult to defend them. And you really have to, as a group, we really have to manage space and men, and they challenge you in that way. And they can really open you up if you don't do a good job of doing that. And so there's some things that they do really well that, that give them a margin for victory. But again, they have some vulnerabilities at times that also give them that margin to drop games.
Next, we'll go to Charles Bohm.
Hey, Greg, you have these 2 rivalry games coming up back to back, and it seems like the LA matchup is the one that gets everybody fired up these days. But when you were in a Galaxy uniform, it was the Quakes that were the Cali Classico that was on the team to get everybody fired up. What's your personal view on this? And can a team have the same level of emotional, I guess, commitment and anticipation in this kind of situation with these 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think this is, again, it's one of those tests a little bit for what the playoffs are like, where you have to get emotionally up and compete hard and what might be a challenging 3rd game in 6 days and put together a good concentration and good quality for 90 minutes against a rival and have that mentality and intensity that you need in a game like this, and then be able to bounce back and do it again in a week against another rival. I mean, that's a little bit of what a playoff mentality looks like and is a little bit of that rivalry mentality. But for, again, for us, I want us, again, to continue to take steps forward as a group in terms of competing for 90 minutes, playing for 90 minutes, executing for 90 minutes, focus and concentration. We've given up a couple goals in the last few games on set pieces that just can't happen. And moments in the game where we're actually in control of the game, we give up a goal, and that stuff like that just can't happen. We have to be locked in and better. So those are things that, regardless of who we play and who the opposition is, we've got to continue improving upon and taking steps forward, understanding that, to your point, the competitive side and the mentality side of playing against your rivals and things like that, maybe there's a little more edge sometimes that gets the blood boiling just a little more.
And what's your personal favorite Cali Classico moment or memory?
I think you guys asked me this last time. I should have a better answer. Cali Classico. The one that is probably the one that hurts the most is the final. Not so much the best moment, but it's the one I probably remember the most for the wrong reasons was 2001 final, and went into overtime at 1-1, and obviously we conceded a goal to lose the game. But that's probably the one that hurts the most. The one that I remember the most probably doesn't overshadow the one that hurts the most. So I'll I remember that one, and my hope is here we can turn that around with a Western Conference win against San Jose at some point to put us into the MLS Cup final to win it, and then I can put that away somewhere.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Josh Gessman.
Hey, Greg, thanks for taking the time to talk to us as always. Can we get an injury update? Can we talk about Chicharito, Sega Coulibaly? I don't know if Jonathan Dos Santos escaped the last game completely uninjured, and Kevin Cabral, please.
Okay, we'll keep Javier one quick. He's progressing. He's doing more field work. He's not ready to play in a match yet. We get a little window of time between this game and the next one, and then we get an even bigger window of time between the next one and the next one. So we have some fingers crossed and optimism that maybe by LAFC he'll be involved, and then we'll really have a window of time to get him to top form and get some training sessions under his belt and all that kind of stuff. So that's a little bit of where he's at. Sega, they found at post game that he didn't have, through more tests and stuff, they didn't find a concussion. They found a bruise and some soreness and all that. So the last 2 days he still had to pass some tests on the field. He has done, so he's available for the match tomorrow. Kevin, again, was a little bit of precaution just with coming out of the game and needing treatment for the 2 days going prior or going into the Colorado game. It was a risk sort of reward. We chose not to risk. He has, again, on the field, passed some of the testing that we want for him to be available for tomorrow. So he remains at the moment available unless anything comes up that I don't know about. And the last one was Jonathan, came out of the game. Yeah, he was fine. He was obviously a touch of fatigue, cramping, somewhat normal stuff with games back to back and tight. But he's eligible to play and he's fine, and he'll be ready to go.
So, sort of to follow up on that, and maybe to touch a little bit on Kevin's question as well. While the ups and downs are maybe normal, is the team feeling the fatigue of this condensed schedule? Because I know I'm exhausted having to go back to the stadium again on Friday, and I don't do anything. It feels like there's that is taking a toll as well on maybe the entire MLS.
Yeah, I think this is a real challenging time just across the league with, guys we call them the dog days of summer, really, when it comes to the MLS, because you have loads of games. The weather is hot in most places. You have guys split their attention between our team and the national team and then back to our team, and all those things are going on. And it's the summer grind that guys are just kind of working through. I find within our group, there's a great amount of concentration, focus, and attention on where we're at. Everybody wants to play every single minute. So when I'm rotating lineups, it's not like guys love to be out of the team. They want to be on the field, which is a great thing. Guys are ready to go out and they want to help the team and they want to keep the group moving forward. So I think our group is, in general, I think it's probably there somewhere, but I think our group is pretty focused in and excited to be together. And I know they hate when they lose a game, especially in the way we lost the last game. And so I think there's some interest of turnaround and playing quickly and trying to get a result back. Not get a result back, but a result to the next one. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Larry Morgan.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for taking our questions. I'm like Josh, I'm tired too, but I have an excuse. I'm pretty old. So, you guys are coming off a pretty emotional game against one of the contenders in the West, and now you're facing a team that's 12 points behind you in the standings. How do you guard against some kind of a letdown or this turning into a trap game almost? Is there any concern on your part about that?
No, not really. And part of it is because we didn't get the result we wanted last game, which should heighten everybody's awareness and I don't know, anxiety a little bit for not getting a result at home. Should feel like we need to come out and perform and back up last not result with a good performance and a good result. So if we'd have won the last game, then I would probably be more inclined to answer that with we need to be sharp in this game and not get complacent with that. But because we didn't, I would like to think that this group has a chip on their shoulder and is going to ready to come out and play.
And one more injury update, Vanney, is he all set to go?
So he has I just have to see if he had any reaction from today's training. He's trained the last few days. It's just trying to get the jolts of, having a bone bruise to minimize. I'm optimistic that he'll be available for tomorrow. I'll know for sure as I step out of here and get follow up from training, but my anticipation is that he will be available.
And how surprised have you been with the inclusion of Nico in the starting 11? Seems like he's really gotten a good spot on that team already blended in quite well.
Yeah, I think he's done an excellent job in a short period of time of just integrating into the group and into the team. Clearly, he knows how to play the position and he knows the expectations, and he's got a great foundation of just soccer ability, knowledge, athleticism, fitness level is in a good spot. He's comfortable on the ball. As I said, we haven't asked anything really unique of him through this stretch. It's just kind of to be himself and to play within the group. But he has a high level capacity that fits into what we're trying to do. So, and some of that's seamless. I think he's proven to have he has an awareness of his surroundings. He's a pretty observant kid. He's quiet. You can see that he's coming in and just kind of seeing how everything works, and he's taking things in. And I think because of that observantness and that awareness, it also shows when he plays on the field that he's really aware of what his center back next to him is doing. He's aware of his surroundings, which helps him to make good, solid decisions. And his quality, his athleticism, those are things that he has. But it's really his awareness of his surroundings and his his decision making has been very good. So those things have helped him to really settle into our group. So I'm pleased with him, and I'm curious to see what the upside is and what he's capable of doing, and also being able to help Jorge, and so that we don't have to kill Jorge every minute of the season, which we had to do at the beginning, which left him a little bit physically vulnerable. So we have an opportunity where we have two good left backs who can really help this team push down the stretch.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yep. Thank you.
We have time for one more question, and I'll go to Fernando Ceballos.
Hi, thanks for your time, Coach. Chicharito will be available to the All-Star game. What do you think? Thanks.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Look, candidly and openly, from my perspective, he hasn't played in what will be 10 games, I think, tomorrow. It's hard to see a guy who hasn't played in 10 games show up and play his first game or minutes in an all-star game. That, for me, is really, really difficult to swallow. I just don't know how that corresponds with his availability for the LAFC game. And so, my hope is that he doesn't have any involvement. But I also want him to be available if he's progressing the right way to play in the LAFC game. So we're working through that to make with the league and everybody else to make sure that a smart decision, whatever it is, he won't be put in a position to where he's put in a vulnerable spot that puts him at risk. Whatever that conclusion is, we'll try to make sure that that's the case.
All right, Greg,
Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for joining our press conference. We will share a recording of this and hope to see you tomorrow as the Galaxy host the San Jose Earthquakes tomorrow on ESPN2 at 7:30.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.